Tell me honestly, how many times have you lost control of your emotions? One small word, one little problem, and suddenly you're angry, sad, or broken inside. Your heart becomes heavy, your mind feels full of noise, and your whole day is gone. Isn't that true? It happens to all of us. You wake up in a good mood. Everything feels fine. Then one person says something rude. One small thing goes wrong, and your peace disappears in seconds. You replay their words in your head, you overthink, you get angry, and before you know it, your whole mood has changed. You start thinking, why does this always happen to me? You try to hide your emotions, but they burn quietly inside you. That's how it begins, and that's how emotions control us. But today, I want you to look at it differently. Your emotions are not your enemy. They are part of you, a powerful part that needs understanding, not suppression. You don't have to fight your emotions. You have to guide them. Because when you control your emotions, you control your life. When you stay calm, you think clearly. You see people for who they are. You respond wisely instead of reacting blindly. And that makes you strong, not cold, not emotionless, but wise. Now let's begin. Let's talk about the first step in controlling your emotions. Step 1. Breathe before you react. Every emotion begins in the body before it reaches your mind. When you get angry, your heartbeat speeds up. Your hands shake. Your chest feels tight. You stop thinking. You start reacting. Your body is trying to protect you, but it doesn't know the difference between a real danger and a simple disagreement. And that's where you must step in. You must pause and breathe. I know, it sounds simple. Almost too simple. But this one small pause can change everything. When you breathe deeply, you send a message to your brain. Calm down. You are safe. The moment you take that breath, you take back your control. Think about it. How many times have you said something in anger, then regretted it later? How many times have you made a decision when your emotions were louder than your thoughts? We all have. But one deep breath, just one, can stop that damage before it begins. Imagine this. You're in a conversation. Someone blames you for something you didn't do. You feel heat rising in your face. You want to defend yourself, shout, prove them wrong. But instead, you stop. You breathe. You let that first wave of emotion pass, and suddenly everything changes. The situation doesn't feel as big. You can see clearly what's really happening. You realize the other person is upset too. Maybe not at you, but at something else entirely. When you breathe before reacting, you give yourself a few precious seconds of peace. And in those seconds, you choose how to respond. That's the secret. Response over reaction. A reaction is instant, emotional, and uncontrolled. A response is calm, thoughtful, and intelligent. Reactions come from impulse. Responses come from wisdom. And the difference between them is just one small pause. One single breath. When you start practicing this, you'll notice how your relationships begin to change. People will see you differently, as someone calm, steady, and in control. You'll stop shouting when angry. You'll stop crying when things go wrong. You'll start thinking. And because of that, you'll start winning, quietly, peacefully. Some people think control means hiding emotions. It doesn't. Real control means feeling everything fully, but still choosing your words and actions wisely. When you control your emotions, you don't lose your fire. You learn to use it gently. You don't stop caring, you start caring smartly, and it all begins with that one deep breath. So the next time something happens, someone insults you, plans fail, a message doesn't come, or life just feels unfair, remember this: don't speak first. Don't act first. Just breathe, because that breath is your power. It's the invisible shield between peace and chaos, between regret and wisdom, between reaction and response. And that's how emotional control begins, not with big rules or complex psychology, but with one simple act of awareness. Breathe before you react. When you breathe, you don't just calm your body, you calm your world. You stop giving power to people and situations. You remind yourself that your peace is not in anyone else's hands. And that's the moment you begin to change. Not by force, but by choice. This is the first step toward mastering your emotions. Simple, powerful, and real. Step 2. Don't let your emotion control you. Sometimes we feel something so strong, but we can't even describe what it is. We just say, "I'm not okay," or "I don't know what's wrong with me," but inside, there's a storm. Anger, sadness, fear, disappointment, all mixed together. Because we don't understand what we're feeling, it controls us. You see, emotions are like children. When you ignore them, they get louder. When you listen to them, they calm down. So the second step to control your emotions is very simple, but very powerful. Name what you feel. When you name an emotion, you bring it out of the dark and into the light. And once it's in the light, it loses its power to scare you. Let me explain. Imagine you're sitting in a dark room. You hear a strange sound. Your heart starts beating fast. You feel scared. But then you turn on the light and realize it's just the wind moving the curtain. That's exactly how emotions work. When you name them, you turn on the light. You tell yourself, "I'm not angry. I'm hurt. I'm not sad. I'm disappointed. I'm not scared. I'm uncertain." And that moment, the moment you find the right word, everything changes. Because now, your mind understands what's happening. You can see the reason. You can find the solution. But when you don't name your emotion, you fight with shadows. You get angry for no reason. You cry without understanding why. You say things you don't mean. You push people away when all you really wanted was to be understood. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man who used to get angry all the time. He shouted at his friends, argued with his parents, and always felt restless. One day his teacher asked him, "What makes you so angry?" He said, "I don't know. I just get angry." The teacher smiled and said, "You're not angry. You're hurt. You feel invisible, like no one listens to you. Your anger is just a mask." And that hit him deeply, because it was true. He didn't hate people. He hated being ignored. The moment he understood that, everything began to change. He didn't fight people anymore. He started understanding himself. That's the secret. When you name your emotion, you stop fighting the world and start understanding your own heart. Maybe you're not lazy. You're just tired and overwhelmed. Maybe you're not cold. You're just afraid of getting hurt again. Maybe you're not angry. You're just disappointed that someone you trusted let you down. Words have power. When you name an emotion, you take away its ability to control you. It becomes something you can observe, understand, and eventually let go of. So next time you feel something heavy inside, don't run from it. Don't hide it under fake smiles or fake strength. Just stop for a moment and ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Say it quietly. Say it honestly. I'm sad. I'm lonely. I'm angry. I'm confused. There's no shame in any of these. They are all part of being human. But here's the difference. When you say it out loud, you own it. You are no longer trapped by it. You become the observer, not the prisoner of your emotion. That's how control begins. Not by forcing yourself to be happy, but by being honest about what you really feel. Because emotions are like waves. You can't stop them from coming, but you can choose which ones to surf and which ones to let pass. When you name them, you can ride them safely without drowning. So, from today, start naming your emotions. Write them down if you need to. Speak them softly to yourself. Don't let them hide inside you like shadows, because once you know what you feel, you can decide what to do with it. That's real emotional intelligence, not ignoring your feelings, but understanding them, and that's what makes you strong, not hard from the outside, but calm from the inside. Step 3. Think before you speak words. They look so small, but they carry the power to build or break a heart. Sometimes it takes just one wrong sentence to destroy years of trust, and sometimes one kind word can heal what silence could not. We speak every day. To friends, to family, to strangers, to ourselves. But how often do we really think before we speak? Most of the time we don't. We react, we defend, we attack. We try to prove our point. And later, when everything goes wrong, we sit quietly and whisper to ourselves, I shouldn't have said that. It happens to everyone. You get angry. Someone blames you. Someone misunderstands you. You feel hurt. And in that heat of emotion, you let the words escape. And once they leave your mouth, you can't take them back. That's the dangerous thing about words. They can't be unsaid. They stay. In someone's mind. In their heart. Sometimes forever. You see, emotion speaks faster than reason. When you're angry, your heart speaks louder than your brain. Your thoughts blur, your mouth moves. And later, when your heart cools down, your mind wakes up and says, what have I done? That's why emotional control needs this third step. Think before you speak. It sounds simple, but it's a sign of deep strength, because anyone can shout. Anyone can argue. But it takes a wise person to pause, to breathe, and to speak with intention. When you control your words, you control your life. Before you speak, ask yourself, will these words make things better or worse? Am I saying this to solve the problem or to hurt someone? Do I really mean what I'm about to say, or is it just my anger speaking for me? Sometimes silence is stronger than words. Sometimes silence protects your peace better than explanations ever could. You don't have to win every argument. You don't have to answer every insult. You don't have to prove yourself every time someone misunderstands you. People will talk. People will judge. People will test your patience, but you don't have to lose yourself in their noise, because emotional control is not about winning fights. It's about winning yourself. Let me tell you a simple truth. When you speak in anger, you give your peace to others. You hand them the power to control your mood. But when you think before you speak, you hold your power close. You protect your heart. You respond with clarity, not chaos. Imagine this. Someone insults you in front of others. They expect you to shout back, to fight, to lose control. But you just stay calm. You look at them, you breathe, and you say only one sentence. Soft, clear, and peaceful. That one calm answer will burn louder than 100 angry words. Because calmness confuses anger. It shows strength without noise. You don't need loudness to show power. You need calm, because calm is power. Sometimes not replying is the smartest reply. Sometimes walking away is the loudest statement. And sometimes a quiet mind wins louder than a screaming one. Thinking before you speak doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. It means you respect yourself enough to not let temporary emotions create permanent damage, because once a word is spoken, it can never be taken back. You can say sorry 1,000 times, but sometimes the damage remains. The person may forgive, but they never forget how you made them feel. That's why it's better to pause before the storm than to repair what the storm destroys later. Real maturity begins when you stop explaining yourself to everyone and start explaining your emotions to yourself. You stop saying, "They made me angry," and start saying, "I chose to react that way." That one shift, and from blame to awareness, changes everything. So, next time your heart starts burning with words you want to throw, stop for a moment, think, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Because most of the time it isn't. You lose nothing by staying calm, but you lose a lot when you speak without thinking. Remember, your silence has value. Your calm has meaning. Your words should be like medicine, used carefully only when they heal, not when they hurt. Because once they're spoken, they become memories, either soft or sharp. So choose carefully. Speak slowly. And if your emotions are louder than your mind, say nothing. Because silence spoken at the right time is stronger than any argument. That's how emotional control grows. Not by hiding how you feel, but by choosing when and how to express it. And in that moment of choice, you find freedom. Step 4. Stay calm. When others lose control, it's easy to stay calm when life is peaceful. When people are kind, when days are quiet, when everything goes your way, anyone can stay calm then. But what happens when people around you lose control? When someone shouts at you, blames you for something you didn't do, or tries to drag you into their storm? That's where real emotional strength begins. Because sometimes it's not your fire that burns you. It's someone else's. And if you're not careful, their anger becomes your anger. Their pain becomes your pain. Their storm becomes your storm. We humans absorb emotions like sponges. If someone is angry, we feel angry. If someone is crying, we feel heavy. It's natural. But emotional maturity means learning to stand firm when others fall apart. It means telling yourself quietly, "This is not my storm." Not every argument needs your energy. Not every shout needs your answer. Not every battle needs your sword. Sometimes walking away from noise is not weakness. It's wisdom. There's a story about a monk. One day a man came to him and started insulting him. He said terrible things, words that could easily make anyone angry. But the monk stayed silent. He didn't react. He just smiled. The man shouted louder and louder, but the monk remained calm. Finally, tired and frustrated, the man said, "Why don't you say something? Why don't you react?" The monk replied softly, "If someone gives you a gift and you don't accept it, who does the gift belong to?" The man said, "To the one who offered it." The monk smiled and said, "That's why I didn't accept your anger. It stays with you." That is emotional mastery. The ability to stay calm even when the world around you is losing control. Because anger wants company. It wants a reaction. It wants someone to fight with. But when you don't react, you take away its power. You let it burn itself out. Sometimes silence speaks louder than shouting. Sometimes calmness breaks anger's back. When someone loses control, remember, it's not about you. It's about them. Their pain, their stress, their insecurity. You don't need to carry it. You can observe it, understand it, but you don't have to become it. Staying calm when others lose control is like standing in the middle of a storm, but refusing to let it pull you in. You feel the wind, you hear the noise, but you stay grounded because you know who you are. You know your peace is worth more than proving a point. And here's something powerful. When you stay calm, you don't just protect your peace. You often calm others too. Your energy speaks. Your calm presence becomes a mirror, and slowly the other person starts to reflect it back. Try it once. When someone shouts, don't shout back. When someone blames, don't defend right away. Just breathe. Look at them. Stay silent for a moment. You'll notice Their voice starts to lower, their anger begins to fade. Because calmness disarms chaos. Remember this line. Don't let their storm destroy your inner weather. You can't control what others do, but you can always control how you respond. It takes real strength to stay gentle in a world that pushes you to react. But that's the kind of strength that makes people respect you, even if they don't understand you right away. People might say you're quiet or too soft, but you'll know the truth, that you are simply in control. You're not cold, you're calm. You're not weak, you're wise. You're not avoiding the fight. You're saving your energy for what truly matters. So the next time someone loses control in front of you, don't lose yours. Because one calm person is stronger than 10 angry ones. Your calm is your crown. Wear it quietly. And when people try to drag you into their fire, remember, fire can only burn if you add fuel. So don't feed it. Walk away with peace in your heart. That's not running. That's rising. Part 5. Don't take everything personally. Sometimes people say things that hurt. They judge you, ignore you, or make fun of you. And suddenly your heart becomes heavy. You start thinking, did I do something wrong? Am I not good enough? But here's the truth. Most of the time, what people say is not really about you. It's about them, their mood, their stress, their past, their pain. People speak from what's inside them. A kind person spreads kindness. A hurting person spreads hurt. So don't take every word as a wound. Sometimes it's just noise. And you don't have to carry that noise in your heart. When someone talks bad about you, smile quietly. Tell yourself they are showing their story, not mine. Let go. Don't collect every word. Peace begins when you stop taking things personally. Because what others think of you is their reflection, not your reality. Part 6. Stop trying to control everything you plan. You try, you give your best, but still things don't always go the way you want. And when they don't, you feel angry, frustrated, lost. You ask yourself, why is this happening to me? But the truth is, you can't control everything. You can't control people's behavior. You can't control what they think or say. You can't even control the weather, the traffic, or the timing of life. What you can control is how you respond. Your calm, your focus, your choice to stay peaceful. Life becomes easier when you stop fighting every small thing and start accepting what you can't change. Let go of control, not because you're weak, but because you're wise. Some things are meant to happen slowly. Some things are meant to leave, and some things are simply not in your hands. Peace comes when you stop forcing life to go your way and start trusting that everything will find its way. Part 7. Turn anger into action. Anger is not always bad. It's energy, it's fire, it's power, if you use it right. The problem starts when anger controls you. When it blinds you, when it makes you say things you never meant to say. But imagine if you use that same fire to build instead of burn. When you're angry, don't explode. Transform it. Turn your anger into focus, into silence, to movement. If someone hurts you, don't waste your nights thinking of revenge. Work harder. Grow stronger. Make your peace louder than their noise. Every great change in history started from a spark, a kind of anger. But the wise didn't destroy with it. They transformed it into purpose. So next time you feel that fire inside, don't fight it. Direct it. Use your anger to become better, not bitter. Part 8. Practice mindfulness. Every day, your mind runs from one thought to another, from one worry to the next. You think about yesterday, you worry about tomorrow, and you forget to live this moment. That's where mindfulness begins, in the now. It's not something hard or fancy. It's just being present, feeling the air when you breathe, hearing the sound around you, noticing your thoughts and without fighting them. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. When you talk, just listen. The more you stay in the present, the less your mind will drag you into stress. Because peace is never in the past or future. It's always here in this one quiet second, so pause. Take a deep breath. Look around. You are safe. You are alive. And this moment is enough. Part 9. Build emotional strength. Emotional strength doesn't mean you never cry, never break, never feel pain. It means you fall, but you rise again. You get hurt, but you still choose kindness. Strong people are not the ones who never feel weak. They are the ones who feel everything deeply and still move forward with faith. You become emotionally strong when you stop escaping your emotions and start facing them. Sit with your sadness. Listen to your anger. Understand your fear. They are not your enemies, they are your teachers. Each time life tests you, you grow a little stronger. Each time you forgive instead of fight, you build power inside. Real strength is silent. It doesn't shout, it doesn't show off. It's the calm that stays when everything else falls apart. Part 10. Be kind to yourself. You forgive everyone else so easily. Your friends, your family, even strangers. But when it comes to yourself, you become the hardest judge. You keep replaying your mistakes. You keep saying, I should have done better. You blame yourself for being human. But listen, you're trying. You're learning. You're growing. And that's enough. Be kind to yourself. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you love. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy of peace. You just need to be honest and gentle with your own heart. When your mind says, I failed, whisper back, I tried. When your heart says, I'm not enough, tell it, I'm still becoming. Self-kindness is not weakness, it's healing. Because the moment you start loving yourself, your emotions begin to listen too. So take a deep breath, let go of the guilt, and tell yourself softly, I am human, I am learning, I am enough. The power is already inside you. Now take a deep breath. Think about everything we shared today. From the moment you lose control, to the moment you find peace again. We talked about 10 simple steps, not magic, not rules. Just small reminders to help you live lighter, calmer, and stronger. Because controlling your emotions is not about being cold. It's not about pretending you're okay. It's about understanding yourself deeply. It's about feeling everything when still choosing peace. Remember, you are not your anger. You are not your stress. You are the calm behind the storm. Every time life tests you, you have two choices, to react or to rise. And the truth is, you already have the power. It's inside you. You just need to pause long enough to hear it. So next time you feel that fire, that sadness, that chaos inside, breathe, smile, and remind yourself, I control my emotions. They don't control me. Because the strongest people in this world are not the ones who fight others, but the ones who make peace within themselves. Thank you for watching Real People, Real English. If this message touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more simple English stories that heal, inspire, and help you grow, inside and out. Until next time, stay calm, stay kind, stay real.